Hello, Moon Jelly Kevin here, and today I'm going to be talking about bad idea comics. Now, you guys want to know what would be a real bad idea? A real bad idea would be to wear your Valiant shirt on a video about bad idea comics. Now, me personally, I would be wearing my bad idea shirt, but it doesn't exist yet, and it looks like it might not because in the past 24 hours, Bad Idea has announced that they are done. The haters have won, so it's time to say goodbye to Bad Idea. Sadly, they didn't live long enough for me to buy a Bad Idea shirt. Now, if you're reading between the lines or if you're one of these speculators, there's a lot of videos and things saying out there that it's not truly the end, whether it's because you've watched the Absolute Comics podcast with Comic Storian and Comic Pop, where they had an interview with Dinesh, or you just read between the lines where they say Bad Idea is done as we know it. That's what it said on the official tweet in regards to talking about Bad Idea being over. But let's take this at face value today. Let's pretend that this truly is it, and we're going to have a career retrospective on Bad Idea Comics. We're going to have a comics retrospective on Bad Idea Comics. This company that, you know, kind of really rose maybe 2020. They might have started a little bit before 2019. I'm not too sure. I came a little late. I found about them probably late 2020. And, yeah, they started putting comics as of March. And you guys can see it is June 8th today. They are calling it quits. It's over. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And let's talk about all the comics that have come out at this point within the past 3 to 4 months. Okay? So, starting off, just to give a little history about Bad Idea Comics, because it's hard to talk about it without mentioning Valiant. Valiant was this wonderful comic company formed in the 90s, the early 90s. I have a lot of huge nostalgia for. Personally, I got into them because we had kind of like a bargain store called Newberry's, which was roughly within a mile of my house. I used to walk to it, and for $1, you could get 3 Valiant comics, a pack of 3. And I saw that they had Super Mario. I came for the Super Mario. I stayed for the Valiant. I fell in love with characters like Dr. Mirage, the first one from The Second Life of Dr. Mirage, X-Man of War, Archer and Armstrong, Harbinger. These are all books that I personally really enjoyed in the 90s. I grew up poor, guys. So when you hear that you could get comics $3 to $1, and you know, you just want to get into comics, you'll pick up anything. And I picked up Valiant. And I was glad that I did because I've been a lifelong fan ever since. Valiant would continue throughout the 90s. I believe in the mid-90s, that's when they had the event called Unity. And around that time, I think that's when Jim Shooter, the first editor, left. I think Bob Layton took over as editor. And not long after that, there was the Acclaim buyout. Acclaim, Multimedia Corporation, they probably put Valiant on the map specifically because for a lot of 90s kids like myself, we saw that there was a game called Turok Dinosaur Hunter, Shadow Man, the Iron Man Exo-Man of War crossover game that was on Sega Saturn and I believe was on PlayStation as well. And for a lot of people, that was their introduction into Valiant. But while these games were all cool, I personally rented Turok Dinosaur Hunter quite a bit because with a name like Turok Dinosaur Hunter, why would you not want to check something like that out? It didn't pan out for Valiant, and Valiant went out of business, I believe, sometime in the either late 90s or early 2000s. And while I was a diehard fan, it turned out there was someone else out there in the sphere of this universe that was also a diehard fan by the name of Dinesh Shamdasani. He was inspired after watching the first Spider-Man movie, I want to believe, and, you know, he figured, hey, I want to own a comic book company and, you know, potentially make movies out of him. I believe he was like a film student at the time. And he bought Valiant Comics. And Valiant was rebooted from 2012 and onward. And there was a big renaissance for Valiant. And the company did really well from 2012 to 2018, at least as far as critical is concerned. I couldn't tell you about the sales, but I know critically the comics were doing really well. And this would all come to an end roughly about 2018, I want to say. That's when they got bought out by DMG Entertainment, which, you know, I believe they're a Chinese company, and the comics have definitely changed. Now, I like the first era the most. I think I have a lot of love and nostalgia for the 90s. I don't think I would be... I know for sure that it's a lot of nostalgia, but I don't think I would be a comic illustrator, aspiring comic writer, if it wasn't for that 90s Valiant. I love the 2012 Valiant a lot as well. I want to get that perfectly clear. The current Valiant seems to be pushing towards a different audience. Tonally, I want to say these books are a lot more comedic. The thing that was great about the 90s and the 2012 Valiant was the shared universe, just how coherent it was. It felt like a must-read. Like, if you read one book, you have to read them all, because they felt really connected. I've previewed some of the current Valiant books, and yeah, I don't feel that cohesion is there. And tonally, it's kind of like the Marvel thing, where they kind of take away the gravitas of some situations for a cheap joke, cheap gag, something that I feel is going to be dated many years from now. But I'm still rooting for Valiant. I hope you guys know that. Like, I hope that they could come around. I hope that they've had some restructuring lately. I hope that they could rise up and give us something unique and different, and try not to be just like a Marvel light, as I've heard Dinesh himself, but I also just, people generally reading the current Valiant books, like, that's the general consensus, where it's just trying to be like Marvel. Whereas what made Valiant special was its own unique things that it brought to the table. Shared universe, consequences, deaths that mattered. Now, these were all things that we loved about Valiant, and the people that worked on Valiant from 2012 to 2018, I believe it is Dinesh Shamdasani and Warren Simons, they are co-CEOs. They formed Bad Idea Comics, and this is their company, and you could already tell just from the name Bad Idea that there is a certain tone, there is a certain brand they are going for. I feel like we've reached a point in society where fun is no longer allowed. Fun is not cool with a lot of people, and even with the reception to some of the ideas of Bad Idea, some people can't just enjoy. There's a lot of anger and outrage in our society, and I feel that Bad Idea is, well, laughing all the way to the bank, really, but laughing all the way is to put it nicely. So let's talk about Bad Idea. Let's talk about the books themselves. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences with each of the books so far, and hopefully you guys could figure out whether or not this is something you want to check out for yourself. So first off, there's the ethos of the books. The books can only be purchased in store. There are a few places that make a few exceptions where you could buy them online. They'll get mailed to you. But for the most part, you have to go to the shop and pick them up. Comics must remain at their price point. I believe they're roughly around $3.99, standard comic book price. They must stay at that price point, I believe, for the first month. So it's basically trying to discourage resellers, at least the stores, from reselling them for higher prices. There are only 2 prints. There's the first print, and then there's a not first print, which I just think, again, is just so funny. Like, that's goes along with the tone. I'm probably not getting all these rules right, but I'm just doing them off the top of my head. But yeah, that's the Bad Idea way. There's only 200 shops that carry them. It's direct market, so no Lunar, no Diamond distribution. You just got to get them directly from Bad Idea themselves. And the first one that I picked up is over here. This is the Bad Idea cross-promotional module. Now, this right over here, you guys can see. Hold it up to the camera. Already spoiling that the next thing I'll be talking about is Eniac. But yeah, it is the cross-promotional module. And this was basically just a preview book. They put out a book before this called The Hero Trade, but you have to be lucky to get that. Basically, they stealth dropped it. They didn't say it was a Bad Idea book, and a lot of these copies got destroyed or thrown away. Yeah, now it's a big collector's item. But as far as the first official release was the cross-promotional module, and again, this is basically just like a free comic book day. It wasn't on free comic, basically like a free comic where you could preview the upcoming titles, and some of the art were even just they're just there in this cross-promotional module, crass promotional module. Again, the tone of these, right? Some of the art in this wasn't even on the final product. So again, it's one of these things where you can't really trust everything that Bad Idea does and says, and a lot of what they're going to be doing is kind of laughing at you, probably laughing at themselves too, right? So there's a tone of there's a jokey tone to all of these, is my point. Our first comic series, official comic series that came out was called Eniac. Now, the thing about Bad Idea Comics is that they are only available in 200 stores. And I live in generally in the Los Angeles area. And my store, my local comic book store, the one that I have my pull list, I've had there for over 10 years, is not a Bad Idea partner. They've tried to be a Bad Idea partner, and just for whatever reason, it hasn't gone through yet. So I had to go to different stores that I normally would not shop at. And when Eniac came out, I first went over to this local store only about 2 miles away. They were doing this promotion with Bad Idea where it's like you could get a pin. If you are the first customer through the store, you will get a pin. And I was super stoked. I was like, I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to line up in front of the comic store. And yeah, I was going to go get that pin because I just figured it'd be a fun adventure. I don't really care about the collectability. You see people take their pins and they resell them online. I just wanted the collectability. Again, I really like the marketing of these people, the Bad Idea people. They did the same kind of thing at when they were at Valiant, where it just feels like there's a lot of fan involvement. If you've ever been to a convention, you know what I'm talking about. So I wanted to be involved as a fan of this new company and line up. And I called a couple of stores, and the first store that I called tells me that they're just going to give the button to one of their friends. And I thought nothing of it. I was like, okay, well, that's a bummer, all right? I don't get the lineup. And then the second store that I called said they're just going to give it to the first person on the pull list. So I didn't make a big stink about the buttons. Little did I know that this controversy would actually continue on in a later release where people were getting so mad on the internet about not getting a chance at the buttons. I didn't make a big deal. Like, I just didn't, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't have that anger and outrage in me. But on a Facebook group I'm on, man, they went nuts over this guy. They still go nuts over this guy. I'm off of Facebook now, by the way, but they went nuts over this button. And I guess the moral of the story is that I should have complained, right? Like, I guess maybe whining was the right way to go about things. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, I go to this store and I pick up my Eniac #1. And the guy was intense. The store owner. Again, I've never bought from this guy before. And he was so mad at me because it was like, oh, you're just picking up Eniac? Why don't you pick up Berserker? This is the most important comic book that's coming out right now. You got to pick up Berserker. Why don't you pick up Berserker? I'm telling you, it's a badass book. It's a book with balls. It's like, I forgot what was the weird comparison he said, but he was just like getting really intense. Like he had the eyes, like he was gonna eat me with his eyes if he could. And I was just like, secretly, I had actually pre-ordered Berserker at my local comic store. I didn't buy from this guy because I'm only there for the Bad Idea books, but he would not like take no for an answer. And like, I don't know, like I've never seen some guy with like glazed eyes, like he was ready to fist fight me if I didn't take home the goddamn Keanu Reeves book. But finally I held my ground. I like just nervously like, I'm gonna wait for trade, blah blah. Just try to weasel my way out of this because like yeah, I don't want double copies of some comic book. But anyways, yeah, finally he took no for an answer, and I got my Eniac. But that still sticks with me. It's like, man, I know these people are pushy for sales. I know it's kind of hard for comic book stores to stay afloat, and I'm willing to support. I'm willing to buy a lot of things, but when you're just kind of like this aggressive, like, dude, bro, you're not buying the book kind of deal, like, I don't want to buy. Like, it sours on a customer. Like, I think, like, there has to be a certain level of, like, not saying you have to be an ass kisser, but I am saying, like, you gotta have some class, Like, it's a little uncomfortable when you're just like, I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way. But that's always what I remember when I think of Eniac. So, as of right now, there are 3 issues of Eniac right now. This is the first print. This is the not first print. This is the second issue. And over here we have the third issue. It is a 4-issue miniseries. And again, written by Matt Kint, Mind Management. And I'm really enjoying Cold Case from him right now. Obviously, he wrote Berserker as well, the Keanu Reeves book. This book is really good. And also, obviously, he did a lot of great work at Valiant. This book is about a supercomputer run amok. And basically, it was the supercomputer that was developed during wartime. I want to say like World War II. And now the computer has gone rogue. And they, the government assumes that the computer is going to kill us all, basically. And so they send these two female CIA agents, covert agents, I forgot they're CIA actually, but they're covert agents, to go defeat Eniac. Now, just right off the bat, on the quality of the paper and printing, it is fantastic. I've never had a book quite like this, of this high quality print. I know showing it on camera doesn't quite do it justice. I don't know if you ever seen that Simpsons gag where it's like if you pour like a coffee on it, the liquid will bounce right off and destroy lesser comic books. That's the kind of vibe I get from this Eniac book. As for the story itself, it has honestly just been roughly about 3 issues of just showing us how badass and how dangerous Eniac is. And I don't know, it's all build up. There was clearly some point in the history of Eniac and the supercomputer where it kind of went rogue, it went a little crazy, and that's the big mystery. I hope it pays off really well. I'm kind of just okay with this. Again, I really like the art, I really do like the story, but can it stick the landing? That's the main thing with Eniac. So, if that sounds good to you, like a sci-fi type of story, kind of like a thriller as well, a little bit of mystery and intrigue, go check this one out, Eniac. Okay, up next we have Tankers. Tankers is put out by Robert Venditti. Sorry. You guys could probably see I'm putting like a tube of lotion. Is that terrible? To prop up my easel here, otherwise it would fall. So this is Tankers. Basically, the premise of this one is that the government, again, it's always the government. No, actually, this one is, I believe it's a corporation, right? Greenleaf Oil, I want to say. They want to produce more oil, so their brilliant plan is to send these giant robots back in time and kind of mess around with a meteor that killed the dinosaurs in an attempt to make there be more dinosaurs so that we'd have more oils and shenanigans ensues. Now, this one, again, Robert Venditti is the writer, best known for a lot of things, but I'm mostly known from Exo Manowar. I know he wrote The Flash for a while, I was picking up his Flash, but I know he's done some other DC stuff that a lot of people really like. But yeah, Tankers is a lot of fun. This is kind of your big, dumb action movie, like Michael Bay level of action movie, but in the best way possible. Like, I hope you guys understand that. The art on this one definitely pops, definitely gorgeous, very crazy. Like, I think a lot of people don't draw dinosaurs because they're hard to draw, right? Especially in all these like action scenes, and there's a lot of action in this one. Like I said, it's the action movie. But Juan Jose Rip is the artist, I believe, as I could see over here, and I believe this guy was born to draw dinosaurs. So if this sounds really good to you, definitely check out Tankers. This might be your jam. Like I said, really, really, really dumb, big action movie in tone. I can't stress that enough. Especially the second issue right over here. This one was really funny. This one is worthy of the moniker. This whole series, though, I say, Tankers. Definitely worthy of the moniker of Bad Idea Comic. Let's move on to a couple of other books. Only a few more books to go over here. Not that much left. We have Whalesville. And, I guess I didn't even talk about the... each comic comes up with a backup story. Now, I've liked the other backup stories. I believe the other one... The ones and his ones, I forgot the names of them, but... Okay, but we'll talk about Whalesville X Rocks and Minerals, because I really particularly enjoyed this one. This was the one that I was looking forward to the most. And it's funny because, like I said, a lot of these people that are coming from Valiant to Bad Idea. I'm sure they were assuming that they were going to get more of things like Eniac and Tankers, which, again, this is Eniac's more of like, sci-fi thriller. Tankers is kind of like your action movie. And over here, you have more of the comics. These last two I'm going to be talking about, the ones that I'm personally super into. Yeah, Whalesville, X, Rocks, and Minerals. Now, Whalesville is a story of a boy. He gets swallowed by a whale, and when he's in the whale, he meets these other sea creatures that don't know that there's a world beyond the whale. And it's actually very beautiful. It's a really good story. They've pitched it as kind of like their Pixar/Miyazaki story. My only complaint is that, I think when I heard that, I had this like crazy, I don't know why I had this crazy expectation. I was expecting that it was going to come like in a manga form, like a giant, like it was going to be this long epic story, but it's actually rather short, but it's still really good. There's a good lesson in there. A lot of heart in the story. So I really liked Whalesville. And Rocks and Minerals is a escort story. Basically, it's the end of the world, and you have these sentient rocks, and they run into a turtle who turns out to be a turtle, and they want to escort this turtle to where all the other turtles are at. And I know it sounds silly and goofy, but like I said, that's another one that, I don't know. There's something about this one that particularly really emotionally touched me. These are more of my jam. I like all kinds of comics. I don't just like superhero action stuff. And to see something get weird and out there, but also like have a lot of heart, you know what I mean? This was the kind of thing that I personally really dig. And then the last one is Hank Howard, Pizza Detective in Caligula's Safe. Now, this one is a story about a pizza detective. And when I just heard the title alone, I was like, okay, what is this going to be about, right? And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a pizza detective. He has to go... I don't know why he specializes in particular in investigating the affairs of pizza shops, but that's what happens. It's basically taken very straight, very much like a noir crime thriller, but it's on the topic of a guy that is investigating where's the missing change and trying to figure out what people's motives are. It is over the top. It is kind of ridiculous. David Latham's art is Lapham. Sorry, I botched his name there. It's very beautiful in black and white. I'm a sucker for camp. I'm a sucker for black and white books. So again, if there were two books that I highly recommend out of all of them, but again, my tastes are weird, I would highly recommend Whalesville X, Rocks and Minerals, and Hank Howard, Pizza Detective in Caligula's Safe. Now, the problem with Hank Howard, Pizza Detective in Caligula's Safe, this one was only sold for one day, and after that day, all the copies were returned back to Bad Idea. But from what I understand, Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, will return as a backup story in an upcoming issue. So if you missed out on this, I believe it's getting reprinted. It won't be completely hard to get a hold of later. So yeah, that is it. Those are all the Bad Idea books. I forgot to mention that, there was... I don't want to keep telling these stories, but yeah, there was a second comic store that... I've actually, in order to get all these books, I have gone to different comic stores. And I'm lucky enough to live in the Los Angeles area where there are a lot of Bad Idea books. And I know I have some friends that they don't have that luxury. But to keep it, to make you understand, how far I've gone to get all these books has been ridiculous. There are two stores I don't want to name, just because they're two stories that I kind of told stories about. I'm going to tell another story about it in a bit. Two stores I don't want to name. Other places I've been to. Enjoy Games. Enjoy Games in Reseda. That's roughly, I want to say over 10 miles away from me. And in LA traffic, that's a long drive. You have Golden Apple, pretty historic comics shop here in Los Angeles. Real close to Pink's Hot Dogs. That's where I pick up some, I think that's where I'm getting my tankers right now. Another comic store I've been to for Bad Idea stuff. I think that's it. Maybe I might be wrong. So Golden Apple, Enjoy, Things from Another World, which is located at Universal Studios. And then the two stores that I'm not going to mention the name of just because, you know, that's to me, that's a classless thing. I want all comic stores to do well, but I'm just saying, like, those two stores, I kind of had some head scratchers of experiences. The first one being the guy I mentioned earlier that was so aggressive about me getting Berserker. And then the second one, there's a lady who works there, and I hate the stereotype, you know, but she has, like, pigtails, and, you know, she's short, and she wears black all day, and, you know, she acts metal all the time, and she only knows how to basically talk in anger. Like, that's the only way she knows how to talk. Her tone is always angry. I've called the store a couple of times, and, you know, I'm just asking some genuine questions about Bad Idea. I just want to know, keep on touch things. And I could hear her just screaming in the background, like, the shipment did come in! Bad idea! I knew it was a bad idea! And you might think I'm exaggerating, but that's legitimately how this lady is talking. And, you know, I could be a little judge, you know, like, okay, maybe you're 16 or something, but, you know, she's in her mid-20s. Like, I don't know. In my personal estimation, anyone who's over the age of 20 who still throws tantrums, you know, that's uncomfortable. You know, I still think you shouldn't even be throwing tantrums after you being a teenager. But, yeah, anyways, my point is, I hope that Bad Idea can expand into other comic shops. I hope they can expand to my personal favorite comic shop, Pulp Fiction Comics in Long Beach, so that I can only go there and deal with people who know me and will treat me right. So anyways, that's Bad Idea Comics. I'm sorry, this video is probably all over the place. I know I've been rambling for about 26 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so. But thanks for sitting by and listening to this. But yeah, long live Bad Idea. I guess rest in peace, Bad Idea. And let's look forward to the future on what these people are going to be doing. Because, I don't know, at the very least, like I said, the books are all very different, but at least with Bad Idea, I think there's actually going to be, like, even though the books are very different, there's always going to be one that you personally can latch on and attach to. I think, like I said, most comic book readers probably more into Eniac and tankers, right? But if you like more eclectic, weird stuff, then you'll probably be more into things like Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, and Caligula's Safe, or Whalesville X Roxy Minerals. Okay, well, that is it. Thank you guys for watching me rant and ramble about Bad Idea Comics. Have a wonderful day. Let me know if you guys are going to be checking out these books, or what do you guys think about Bad Idea. Take care. Bye.